Hi guys, Amy G here. Today we're going to be doing a sew along. It's 9638. I love this matching skirt and jacket. It's just to die. And please forgive me. I am actually feeling a little under the weather. I actually feel quite crappy. But I had filmed the sew along and then I had forgot to film my intro, and so I needed to get that done today so I could put the video out for you guys, because I know that the patterns are in the stores and you guys have already started buying them, which of course, thank you so much. So here's the sew along for the skirt. The jacket will come in probably about a day or two. If I feel good enough tomorrow, I will edit it and get it up for you guys. Thank you again so much. Let's get started. All right, guys, we're working on 9638. We're going to do view C, which is our skirt. This is a rather simple pattern, actually, because it's only a couple of pieces, so that's always nice. Let's go over the pattern pieces that you're going to need to cut. So pattern piece number 16, this is our back. You're going to cut 1 on the fold. We got pattern piece number 14. This is the front. You're going to cut 2. We got pattern piece number 17. This is our front facing. You're going to cut 2 of fabric and 2 of interfacing. Then we have pattern piece 18 and 19, and this is our back waistband and our front waistband. You're going to cut 1 on the fold of 19 plus interfacing, and you're going to cut 2 of fabric and 2 of interfacing for 18. And then our last piece is pattern piece number 15. This is our pocket. You're going to cut out 4. All right, now that we have everything cut, we can go ahead and start sewing. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and attach our pocket. The pocket is the same exact process as we did for our jacket. So the zipper pocket is the same on the jacket, it's the same on the skirt. So if you did not watch the jacket first, the next clip you're about to see is me adding the zipper and the pocket to the jacket. You're gonna follow along those same exact steps for the skirt. Okay, we're going to start with our side front and one of our pockets, and you should have transferred your stitching lines for your pocket. So you should have transferred that to the right side of your side front and also to your pocket. So you want to make sure that you're going to align those. The easiest way for me to do it is just I take my pins and I align my dots as best as I can. And then I'm going to pin right through both layers. So once I have it pinned in place, I know it's not going anywhere. I actually like to sew on this side of my fabric. So what I have done is I transferred my entire bounding box to my fabric because it makes it, one, easier to sew in a straight line, but also it lets me start in the center and work my way around so I can end in the center. It's much easier to start backstitch and stop exactly in the same place when you're in the center than it is to try and do all of that in one tiny dot corner, okay? So for me, I like to start in the middle and then I work my way around the bounding box, stopping where I started and backstitching. Go ahead and stitch around your bounding box. Make sure that you do the same exact thing to your other side front and your pocket. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and cut our bounding box open. So I like to use my small rotary cutter to start my line. And then using my scissors, you're going to cut into the corners. Don't go past your dot. And then you're going to turn your pocket all the way to the inside and you're going to press this. So you're going to go ahead and take this to your machine and you're going to press this out nice and neatly. You're going to do your other one the same exact way. All right, once you've gone ahead and pressed your pocket to the inside, the right side of your side front should be facing up. You're going to go ahead and grab your zipper. Now you may notice that I tacked the very top of my zipper together. This just makes it easier to keep it closed while I'm going to place it underneath. And you want to try and make sure that you're placing it evenly so that you have the same amount of zipper tape on either side. And then I'm going to pin mine in place. Okay, now we're going to head to the sewing machine and we're going to edge stitch around our bounding box. Okay, once we've sewn our zipper in place, I'll trim this away now so that it can just be out of the way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab your other pocket piece and you're going to turn this around. You're going to lay them on top of each other so that right sides are facing each other. You're also going to make sure that you're aligning your notches. You should have notches both on your pocket and your pocket lining. And you're going to go ahead and pin this in place. Now you're going to head to your sewing machine. You're going to stitch only through your pocket and your pocket facing all the way around and along the side, closing up the entire pocket. Okay, once you have your pockets done, we're going to go ahead and attach our facings. So you want to finish off the unnotched edge of your facing. You could either serge it or turn it under and stitch the way that I did. You're going to place this right sides facing. You also have 2 notches, so you want to make sure that you align your notches. That's how you know you're doing it on the correct side. And go ahead and pin. Now you're just going to sew in one straight line using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. You're going to start at the bottom, make sure to back stitch. You're going to stitch using again 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. You're going to sew in one straight line, starting at the bottom, back stitching of course, using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance straight up, back stitch at the top. Then you're going to turn this and I want you to understitch. All right, once your facing is attached and you have done your understitching, you're going to go ahead, and I just went ahead and pinned this just to keep it out of the way for a quick sec. Grab your back. You're going to make sure that you sewed your darts, right? Your back has 2 darts, so go ahead and do your darts. And now we're going to attach our front to back at side seams. So I'm going to grab one front and make sure that I am aligning my side notch. You're going to pin your other front to your back on the side seam the same way. Now just head on over to your sewing machine and you're going to stitch using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Start at the bottom, work your way up. Okay, once your side seams are sewn, and of course finish them by either serging, or if you don't have a serger, you can always zigzag your seams. Go ahead and grab your waistband. So I went ahead and attached my front waistbands to my back waistbands, and I pressed my seams open. And I also went ahead and turned under 5/8 of an inch along the unnotched edge. So you'll probably notice, so let me just mention it, that the wale of my corduroy is going in 2 directions, but your girl ran out of fabric, okay? And all I could squeeze out was this tiny piece. So that's why my wale is going in this direction and then in this direction. But you gotta do what you gotta do. So we're gonna go ahead and start pinning our waistband to our skirt. So obviously our facing is folded to the inside. I have it pinned, but you can also just baste it in place if you need to. You're gonna extend your waistband 5/8 of an inch, and we're gonna go ahead and start pinning. Make sure your side seams of your skirt and the side seams of your waistband match up. Once you have your waistband attached to your skirt, you're going to go ahead and stitch from one end to the other using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, once you have sewn your waistband onto your skirt, you're going to go ahead and press your seam up towards your waistband, and then you're going to close out the front of your waistband. So as you can see here along the short end, I went ahead and stitched together, making sure that my bands were right sides facing. So you're going to grab your short ends with right sides facing like I just said. You're going to fold them, and then if you want, you can pin here to keep it together. And you're going to take up that allowance. You're going to stitch that closed, and then once you do that, you're going to go ahead and trim off the excess and turn the front to the inside so you have a clean finish. All right, so I have gone ahead and turned the front ends to the inside. I've folded my band in half and gave it a really good press. Now you have the option of stitching this closed by hand on the inside. You could slip stitch this, but I like to stitch in the ditch, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the folded edge of my waistband is just past my stitching line, and then I'm going to pin. And this will just make sure that I catch the underside of my band as I'm stitching in the ditch. All right, once it's pinned, I'm going to go ahead to my machine and I'm going to stitch in the ditch, which just means that you're going to stitch right in between this seam line here, right? Where you joined your skirt to your waistband. Once you're done stitching in the ditch, you should not see your visible stitching, right? It should be sort of hidden in between that seam. And then on the inside, you'll have a finished closed waistband without having to slip stitch this by hand. So the only thing left for you guys to do now is the hem of your skirt. So what I would suggest now is that you go ahead and either finish the edge by turning under 1/4 inch and then our full allowance, or you can serge the bottom of the skirt. You're going to take your facing and you're going to fold it onto itself here, right? So right sides are facing again, and I like to go ahead and pin. Then we're going to take our hem allowance, which is 1 1/4 inches, and we're going to stitch. So you're going to stitch from the edge of where that fold is to the end here, and then I'm going to continue that stitching line all the way through, just so that I have a folding line that I can use when I'm pressing. You're going to do that for both sides, right? So you're going to do this on this side, and then of course you're going to want to do the same exact thing to the other side. So you're going to unpin it, fold it so that right sides are facing again. Go ahead and pin it in place. And then from this fold all the way to the other, you're going to stitch 1 1/4 inches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just trim here at this corner so I don't have a lot of bulk. and then just on the facing, I'm gonna go ahead and trim some of that away. Now I'm gonna turn this to the right side. Okay, so I've gone ahead and turned in both my fronts, made sure that I pushed out my corner, I pressed the hem all the way across, and now I'm gonna go ahead to my sewing machine and on my right side, stitch my hem in place. Okay, once you have finished the hem of your skirt, you're practically done. All you have left to do is to make sure that you transferred your buttonholes, markings, and your button placements, both on your front and also on your waistband. And then of course, following whatever your sewing machine instructions are for buttonholes, you're gonna make your buttonholes on your skirt and your waistband and attach your buttons, and you are all done.